Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the Candid Camper, and today we are going live with the boys. We got OG55, Georgia Disney Italiano, and Mr. Webber from OG55 Crew. We are missing Tones tonight because he'd rather watch basketball over hanging out with his friends and talking about some good stuff. But it is what it is. We have him here live. Today we're going to talk about Epic Universe, and then we're also going to talk about how Disney is going to respond. And then we're going to have a few other topics randomly, and then we'll leave it to you guys to ask some questions in the chat. So don't be scared. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And OG Crew, if you guys can tell them where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can find me on Orange Grove 55 on YouTube. We talk theme parks. We talk movies, streaming. We even get into like the nerdy stuff, like the financial end of like the company and all that. So we do it all over there at OG55. You can check us out on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram, Orange Grove 55, and on X, Orange Grove 55. Although I don't really tweet that much anymore because, Candid, you had the right idea by deactivating. I should have done that shit a long time ago.
Yep. Done.
And for me, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. I stay on it because just because I can, and I like to piss people off. Yeah, why not? Anyways, you can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel and Instagram, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
There it is. There it is, Mr. Webber. You're up to bat. You're next, bro. You're next.
Take your time, bro. You got a lot of time.
I think I do. Yeah. So yes. Canada, thank you for having me on the channel with the boys.
Yeah.
It's actually been a minute since we've all been on together. Like, it's been a while since I've been on with your ass, dude. What the hell? But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Mr. Webber at Webslinger760. You can also find me on Instagram and Threads, Mr. Webber at Cobweb91.
Awesome.
There it is.
All right, y'all heard it. I don't have any cool ding things that they would do. I had some, but my little board is.
I got you, bro. I got you. There you go.
You're mute, bro.
You're on mute.
I'm on mute.
Oh, now you're good. Now you're good.
I'm here. It's my first time, guys. I'm scared. I'm nervous. No, let's jump into it. You want to go straight? Should we just go straight into it? I think we should go straight into it. All right. So there's been a lot of talk about this Epic Universe. It took them about like a year to do, which was crazy because it took Disney like 17 years to make one ride. But yeah, I think there's a lot of mixed emotions in this room. I could feel it, especially coming from wherever George is on your screen. I didn't mean to call him out like that, but here we go. Let's walk into the gates. Let's do that. Let's start off at Epic Universe. Let's walk into the gates. Let's start off with Celestial Park or whatever they call it. How are we feeling?
Okay, so here's my feeling on Celestial is this. I think it looks great. I think it looks actually really cool. I like the idea behind it. Our good friend Slimer from the channel was saying that like he speculated on this a while back, and I think it's a cool concept where when you watch a Universal movie and you have that Universal logo with the Earth and you see the Universal going across the screen. Celestial Park is sort of like the physical, like kind of like a manifestation of that Universal logo in some way. Now, I don't know if Universal meant it to be like that, but it's kind of cool to think about it like that, right? You're kind of walking into that Universal logo. I really, really like that. Now, I will say this. It does look like a trendy outdoor LA mall. Like we have like the Americana in Glendale and like the Grove. It does have that vibe, like the Americana vibe. But that's not necessarily bad. I mean, those malls are very well themed. They look really cool. So I think it's a great entrance. Could use some more shade, I think. But other than that, it looks pretty cool, in my opinion.
So what's your thoughts on that being your castle when you first walk into a park? Like, do you think that is underwhelming?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, for that, when you walk, like, for example, Islands of Adventure, that entrance is like mind-blowing, dude. Because it's like that kind of like that global marketplace. It has like that really adventurous, like Steven Spielberg, John Williams kind of soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And it's a vibe. The Celestial Park thing is not on that level, I don't think. It's good, but not on that level, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Okay, so here comes mine. So I personally feel like just with Celestial Park, when you call a theme park Epic Universe, you want something big, you want something grand. Based off of the videos that I've looked at, now again, I will reserve judgment fully when I experience it myself, but just based off of what I have seen already, it doesn't give me that grand entrance reveal like I was expecting. Everything is very spaced out. There's a lot of, I'm glad there is walking room, but sometimes that could be a little bit of a detriment because it's like nothing but walking paths. It's like everything is just kind of like spaced out where you don't really know what you're looking at, so to speak. And you could either go left or right, depending on like which portal you want to go to. If you want to go to the right side, you can go to the Isle of Berk, or if you go to the left side, that goes to Super Nintendo and Dark Universe. But as far as, or you could just kind of go straight on into Celestial Park itself. But I just was wanting something that of what they showed in the 3D rendering when they first showed us Celestial Park. I wish everything that's fully pushed out would be a little bit more on the forefront as soon as like you walk through that initial the Chronos, so to speak. So that's my take on it. I don't think it's horrible, but I think that when you call a park Epic Universe, I want to see something epic going in. And I agree with OG. I feel like I was expecting something like of how they did with Islands of Adventure.
Yeah, or even like with when you look at like the Mythos over there at IOA, like that kind of vibe. The Lost Continent stuff. I can see like that being a grand kind of entrance to a park called Epic Universe, right? So like I said, it's not a bad entrance that we got, but it doesn't really hit like it could have hit. You know, it does feel very much like the Americana over there in Glendale, like to me. And again, that's not an ugly mall, but I think for a theme park called Epic Universe, it probably falls a little short. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you think Celestial Park was an afterthought? Do you think that they had something else planned? Or do you think they had to go with this because they didn't want to theme it to an IP?
I think for Universal, and OG and I talk about this all the time, but it's like they have a vision and they take it right up to the line, but they never cross that line. They stop it right there. And it's like, they'll give you the 90%, but they won't go that extra 10 to give you the full 100. That's
I would
where
love to get 90%.
They did.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I think they did with Celestial.
Once you get married, George, you only get 10%.
There you go, 10%, Georgie. That's all you got.
Mike, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, so I mean, like what OG said, it's a very, it's great looking. However, I feel that because to your point, Ken, what the question you just asked, I feel like this area was the least amount of. It looks like it was the least amount of in terms of budget. I don't know if that makes sense because it looks great, but in terms of I guess substance, I guess you could say it looks like the least amount in the park. Because with the kind of concept of like a celestial thing, right? You can do really cool stuff with that, but I feel like that was just kind of like a broad theme, and then they kind of just put some water and then some trees or whatever. But even then, OG, you're saying it's not really covered at all.
And that would have been epic, right? If you just had this giant fucking cover over the top and it was just dark with sparkles or make it feel like you're in space. Just think of the big one they put over Tron, something like that, just covering right when you walk in and just holds this it would have that vibe. And I don't know.
You can even projection if you do something like that. That's a cool idea, Candid, because you can even if you had a canopy where you walked in, you can do the sparkles, the stars. You can even have projection mapping.
Yeah, and that would have been your show right there too. Come on. And you would have great seating because you could see it from anywhere in the fucking park. I don't know. I think going into it, that roller coaster, it looks badass. I love it, but then you start looking at it and you're like, you picked a yellow and a different color, yellow green, to paint that. That's not epic either. And we're using that word because they called it Epic Universe. You're right. So you give me a basic ass ride that I see at Six Flags Magic Mountain, which we're going to be getting, I believe, right? Or this is kind of like the racing one that's at Magic Mountain. What makes this different? What makes me walk into this park and say, damn, this is the shit right now, when I can go down the road and see it at 4 other parks or 5 other parks?
Yeah. And you know what the best way to describe Celestial Park for me? It's Marvel's Eternals.
Okay.
It's given Eternals vibes to me.
So do you just, this is what happens to my brain when you say things. Now I wanted to talk about Marvel just for a second because we have this little piece. Are they not allowed to use any Marvel still at all, or can only be in their other park?
Their other park, yeah. They would have to get signed off by Disney, and Disney's never going to do it. So yeah, they can't use Marvel. But like when I think Eternals, merch, that's a good question. I know they can sell it at IOA, but I don't know if they can do another park though.
I think don't quote me on it. I think whatever they have already that was prior to Disney owning Marvel is basically their little time capsule, so to speak. So they can make adjustments to maybe some of the merch at IOA or like fixer uppers, so to speak, at the Marvel Land. But as far as like adding new product into the other parks, I don't believe they can.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it gives, that whole land gives Eternals vibes, which is cool. But again, epic isn't the word I would describe that. I wouldn't describe the Eternals as epic.
Well, right, and I feel like with Eternals, real quick, going into like this land of this park, it could have been so much better than what it is. I think, like, for me, that's the vibe I get from it, is that there was so much potential, but to George's point about the percentage of epicness, it wasn't fully utilized.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. So you get a giant ass roller coaster, which I actually heard, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But then you get what, a carousel, and I think that's it, right? Just those 2 things, or am I missing another ride there?
No,
the carousel.
The carousel. So it's just those 2 things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have the Nintendo, the Mario shop out there too, which I thought was actually pretty nice looking, like how they made it fit the aesthetics, even though it's still Mario.
And the other thing I wanted to touch upon really quick with Celestial Park, again, we talked about it on Orange Grove 55, is whether or not that they planted trees there or not, that takes time.
Yeah, years.
and it's not something that's going to be an overnight thing. So I don't know why that they wouldn't import trees in that area, because it's opened. So you have the Florida heat in the summer, which I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. And number 2, not even just with Celestial Park, but majority of the stuff, which you can probably get into later on in Epic Universe in general, majority of the things are outdoors. There's only, I think, 4 attractions, 3 attractions in 1 show, or 2 shows, excuse me, that are indoors. So it constantly rains in Florida. So if you happen to go to Epic Universe on a really rainy day, your experience is going to be hindered a lot.
Yeah, you're only going to probably get on like 4 rides, like you said, right? Because they usually let them down. Or
here's the thing too. Maybe not even that, because if your most popular rides are the only ones indoors, the influx of people going to those queue lines are going to be more than if it wasn't raining.
Well, and also too, to your point, there with Harry Potter, Lord knows how long that's even going to be in virtual queues. You may not even get on that ride.
Yeah. Now, here's the interesting thing. Tones of Mr. Badthought Studio is asking, hey, OG, can you ask Marcus the question you asked me about seeing a different attraction when you're in a different one? Okay, so for Celestial Park, they have that coaster, right? The Stardust Racer.
I was going to bring this up too, but go ahead.
Perfect. We're getting into some real nerdy stuff now. This is some nerd shit for sure. But when you go to Isle of Berks, you can see that same coaster, right?
Yep.
And I talked to Tones. We did a video together. I brought him on. We talked about Epic Universe from that normie perspective, because Tones is more of a normie when it comes to parks. It doesn't bother him at all. But the theme park community is all abuzz about this. Oh my God, you can see the coaster from Isle of Berks. Now here's the thing. You're entering a portal though. So when you enter the portal, there's the assumption that you're kind of blocked out. But do you think for you, because you are a theme park nerd, does it bother you that you can see it, or is it something that, like, you know what, I don't really give a shit. I'm here for the rides. I'm here for the.
Please, for the love of God, say the right answer,
dude. So, I saw this video. I was waiting for the videos to drop. Like, I was just scouring the internet, and I saw it before you guys even filmed your show, and I said, "What the fuck?" Because
thank you.
That was the only one you could see it by the way. And
Yes.
I said, how come they didn't give fucking mountains? How come they didn't put mountains around it or something? And I'm like, dude, this will not fly if it was Disney. And if it was Disney, they would have painted something or they would have done something fucking weird.
I think if you didn't have the portal aspect, if everything was just opened, then okay,
it'd be different.
But like when you are giving a storyline that you're supposed to be going into another universe and you're going through a portal to the Isle of Berk, why should I be seeing Stardust Racers in Celestial Park? I don't.
That's a fair point.
100%.
Now, yeah, that's a fair point. And now we're seeing it from that nerdy perspective. Do you think now, Marcus? Do you think that the family from Tennessee cares though? Like, do they give a shit?
They should, but they
should.
don't.
I was just gonna say they should. If not, they could go back to Dollywood because like.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You got to remember, like these people that frequent Disney World and Disneyland and even the other Universal parks, you're expecting that theme. Okay, so Isle of Berk, we'll start there, of course, but I want to just shift over to the other side real quick. If you're in Dark Universe or even Mario and you've seen something that same thing, it doesn't match. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't look right. When you go to California Adventure and you go and you walk past Cars Land, you don't see Cars Land anymore. And that's a big fucking place. Like that ride is huge. You do not see Cars Land from across the pier. It just doesn't make sense, even though it would technically make sense, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So,
no, absolutely. Disney does a good job at hiding it. Hopefully Universal, I don't really know what they could do now. I'm not really sure, like in terms of like trees or maybe even adding something, but it would be cool if they could block out some more of that coaster. A little more emergent, you know, we'll see what happens. But
Tony said here, he said, think of it like this. Would you rather them save the money on building unnecessary mountains so you don't see another side of the park, or then put that money into an attraction and make it look better? The thing is that
I wouldn't want the attraction if you're half asset in that sense.
It takes you out of the immersion.
Half asset, I mean all aspects. This goes into the queue. This goes into the visuals. Now, again, I'm now speaking as a nerd theme park person, but like if they had like an immersive dark ride or what have you, don't just plop it in front of nowhere and then call it a day. And that's where I kind of go back to where it's like they give us 90%, but it's like I don't know why they won't hit that threshold of that extra 10% just to go.
And they knew what they were doing. They knew, like the fact that I saw a video of some sketchy fucking cam and I still noticed it. They knew what they were doing the whole time, because other parts of the park, they didn't have that. They don't have that problem.
You're right, Marcus. If you look at the Potter Land, right? And whatever we think about J.K. Rowling, that's a whole other story. But like, she is a stickler for that quality, man. Mm-hmm. And you walk into that Potter Land, you don't see shit. You don't see nothing. I mean, you are completely blocked out.
Yeah.
So
they put all those houses and everything in there, right? And all the downtown part, like
right.
And you go down different alleyways and you still don't see anything.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, they could if they wanted to. You know, I think Universal probably figured. You know, I think Tones makes a good point here with the money though. These companies only have a finite amount of money and funds, so they probably saw, well, we can't mess with Potter because J.K. Rowling's gonna throw a fit.
Yeah. Yep.
And Mario, we got Nintendo with breathing down our neck, right? So if we can cut, where can we cut? Well, we can do Isle of Berk because that's our property.
Yep.
So they did. That's what it was.
And you gotta remember too, kids, they're gonna be blind to that fact for sure, most of the time. So they're not gonna see it. They're gonna see the dragons running around and Toothless doing his thing. And that actually brings up. Go ahead.
Which is awesome, by the way. The Toothless meat.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Let's get into it.
I would say, I'm sorry, like if that was like my kid, they better be paying attention to that detail. Otherwise, I'd be making them get a hickory switch off the tree, but I couldn't because guess what? Epic Universe doesn't have no fucking trees. So
what's a hickory switch? Is that like a PA thing of Pennsylvania? What is that, George?
Actually, no, that's a Southern thing.
Okay, because we don't have that out here in California. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I was gonna say some stuff. I'm not gonna say it. No. I can't say it. It should be said. Toad's got one more, but but does that stop you from going to the park because you can see another attraction?
Oh no, absolutely
not at all. No,
I want to go so bad, dude. I want to check this place out because I've heard, like, I know we're kind of complaining early, but like honestly, like this park looks seriously amazing. I really want to check this park out and see what it has to offer because I think there's a lot of good here.
I can't wait to experience it so I can complain in person.
There you go, and hopefully do it live.
Now, candid, I have a mixed opinion with you guys on this one.
Go for it.
So me, I'm not as nitpicky about that. For me, it depends on what the standout other theme is. So if it's in this case, it's a coaster. Just seeing a coaster track is actually just kind of ugly, right? It's just some track in the air. But if the background behind it of an attraction of another land kind of matches a similar element of what the land you're in, to me that's fine.
Let me ask you this, Ebba. So take the roller coaster aspect. Say if J.K. Rowling wasn't too much of a stickler. So you go through the portal into Isle of Berk, but you happen to see the archway to enter into Harry Potter.
Tones, man. I fucking love this man.
I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so yeah, you go into Isle of Berk, and off to the side you see the entranceway of a
giant powder donut, George.
Yeah, sure. Do you see? Does that bother you? Like, would that bother you? Like,
what are you asking right now, George?
Like, it's a structure.
I don't know. You just asked, dude. Can you tell one more time?
Wait. Can you say that again?
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Okay. If you were to take the roller coaster out of the equation, you go into the Isle of Berk, and you happen to see the structure of the entranceway to Harry Potter.
Okay.
You're already through the portal. Would that bother you? You're already through the portal that you're supposed to be going into the How to Train Your Dragon, but you're going to see something of Harry Potter like right next to it. It's not a roller coaster, but it's a structure. Would that bother you?
Well, okay, but what's the structure though? You're not saying the structure.
That's the entrance, the archway to Harry Potter, like the big arch. With a
So before I answer your question, let me address Tones' theme. No, so I'm saying this live for everybody to hear. This is not donut powder. It's not powder. This is actually my wife's foundation I put on.
It's just say it's donut powder, dude.
No.
Or give us a really good story and how much did it cost?
No, I have a bad scab on my lip right here.
Oh, okay.
So it's like super red.
I'm surprised he even saw that because I didn't even like this. Tones, do you have like Ultra 4K? Like,
I thought he had one of those like Cholo mustaches going on. He does live in San Diego.
That'd be nice. You know.
Cholo mustaches.
Yeah.
I got my cat right here. I got some shit on my neck right here.
Well, dude, yeah, because as I said, you look like you're recording from inside of a bunker. It looked like so you're doing some of those the military.
He just did some hard time.
Yeah. I know. I'm being tortured.
Going off of what George said.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Ken. No, George, but the question is
please don't make me repeat it.
So you're saying if you're in the aisle going into Harry
okay, so you're going into the Isle of Berk. Okay, take the roller coaster out of the equation. You're going into the Isle of Berk. You're walking through the portal. You see the entrance of Harry Potter. Does that bother you?
Well, okay. Well, then, yeah, because it doesn't match. It doesn't match the theme. You know,
okay.
if there was like type of like a show building or whatever that match the kind of aestheticness of Alberg, then that's fine.
So what you're saying is sort of like how what Epcot did with like the Tower of Terror. Like if you're on one part of World Showcase, you can see Tower of Terror in the distance over at Hollywood Studios, but of how they actually built and angled it, they made the side of Tower of Terror kind of the architectural design of Morocco. So
right,
so you're saying like if it blends,
that makes sense
with if it blends in with whatever the land you're going in. Okay, that would make sense. I'd be fine with that because then blend in with it like a camouflage.
But that's the thing. So now you have a roller coaster. Why not paint it to somehow match and it'll still be celestial? Like, that would have been a better step forward than just having this fucking massive.
I think honestly, me personally, as much as I would enjoy Stardust Racers. I'm a roller coaster junkie.
Sure.
But again, to what you said earlier, Candid, it's like, what does that have to do with being epic? Like, to me, it's just another roller coaster that I can get at any amusement park. So really, honestly, what they really should have done was just
Space Mountain.
Yeah, just 86 the roller coaster in general.
Give me Space Mountain.
Well, now here's the thing. Here's the thing that's cool about Stardust Racers, though. Number one, I heard it's very intense. It's like the Velocicoaster, which if you're a coaster fan, that's going to be crazy. The other thing, too, though, I think at night is when this thing really, really shines. No pun intended. But it does look like the comets and all that. So that's cool. This is a nighttime park. Hopefully, Universal has nighttime hours for this thing, and they don't close like super early. I know out here in Hollywood, it's like, like weekdays, like 6 p.m. and shit like that. But hopefully over there, it's different. But nighttime is probably much better. OG,
to your point, I think this like land should be the one where they really utilize the environment to their advantage, right? Put like when you say this is the show, put the show, make the land the show, right?
Right.
So that way you get that of celestial like aspect.
So has anyone? I know George has, but have you two been to like Pandora?
Yes.
Yeah, at night.
Were we there at night? No, it wasn't open that late.
Saw it at night because they closed the park freaking at 7 p.m.
Come on, I can't. That is probably one of the most amazing things I've seen in a park. That floor, like you walk on the floor and it's glowing. We could just give me something like that.
Well, and kind of like going off this, but OG mentions this all the time. That's the beauty part of Pandora going into California Adventure is because they don't have to worry about live animals and closing the park down early. If anything, Pandora will actually keep DCA open longer, probably to even Disneyland time.
Yeah, which would be great, and that would help manage a lot of the people going back and forth.
I will say to what OD had mentioned about like this is a night park, and we did a reaction video to Andrew Platt. Definitely check out on Orange Grove 55. Absolutely. He does really good content. He did a really good video. We reacted to it. And I had noticed that when he went to Epic Universe, he was kind of repetitive when he mentioned about Stardust Racers and Celestial Park and Dark Universe. And he said, during the day, it was underwhelming, but at night, these lands came alive.
Right.
So I feel like that is really cool in a sense, but it's kind of
both. You need a balance.
That if you're in the park more in the day than you are at night.
Well, that's the risk of making a entry themed to the stars and the constellations.
Yeah, and not only that too, you have two other theme parks now. So am I gonna go to this one theme park, which I'm gonna call it as it is? It's a half day park still. If you can get out, because I mean, for what there is there, but obviously it's not going to be for a long time, just because of how many people are probably going to go. How many people are probably going to be going there? But in general, like you're not going to spend all your time there at night. You would be at the other parks, the big Universal parks. Right. So where is this balance of these people going to be? I just don't get why you wouldn't focus on during the day versus at night. When you know that's going to be half day park.
Right. Yeah. You need. Yeah. It seems very night focused because even like Dark Universe, you have that burning blade.
That'd be cool.
The bar thing. I mean, that looks awesome. But Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I will say this, to give credit to Universal, this is a brand new park. I've said it on my channel where it's like the hardest part is over now, because just building this thing, it was the hardest part, because you got to get all the infrastructure in there and all that stuff.
Especially
now they have the park
grounds.
Right. So now that they have that park set and they got the infrastructure and all that, now they can play with the park itself, add new lands plus what they got. I mean, so the hardest part's behind them. You know, this is for it, all its flaws and everything. Epic Universe has really a strong. Is that Tones Poppy?
What's up, boys?
We got a wild tone.
Mr. Tones Poppy. Let's go.
Us, Tony. Appreciate it.
Continue your thought, OG, and I'm gonna butt in for a second.
Yeah. No, I was saying, like, I think Epic Universe, for all its flaws, it has flaws, right? It's not perfect, and no park is. I mean, even Disneyland, dude. When Disneyland opened in 1955, like the water fountains didn't work. Women were getting their heels stuck in the cement. It was still wet. I mean, there was all kinds of problems for Disneyland, right? And that's the best theme park on the planet. So Epic Universe is going to have its problems, right? It's going to have its flaws. That's normal. But for all things considered, with all the flaws that you can point to, it's a strong start, bro. Like, this is a strong park. Out the gate, that's a good foundation to build on. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
First, I want to say, Webb, I love you, brother. I love
you.
No,
you're good. You're good.
I wasn't saying that to be mean, by the way.
No, you're good. No, it's just like, dude, I'm like, it's like fucking super scabbed right now. So it's like fucking red at some motherfucker.
But you like wasted the perfect opportunity. I would have like ran that shit as long as possible and just like gave him the edge of saying like, dude, like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yep. Not only that too, he did mention to us that he got a new job and everything, and then now he has his wife's foundation on his face, and he has a broken wrist and some scratches. So I was just really curious what that new job would have been.
Well, but blink twice if you're in trouble, bro. Blink twice.
Oh shit!
No, I kind of wanted to bring that what you guys were talking about up, because you know when me and OG were talking about it, seeing a different attraction from the attraction that we were looking at. Like, to me, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm enjoying what I'm seeing in front of me.
Yeah.
But OG brought up a good point. Like, the people who know theme parks know that if you see another attraction, it's just something that bothers a lot of people. But like I was telling OG, like, I think the money that they spent within everything that we got to see was perfectly spent. Every attraction is beautiful. The only thing you can really nitpick is that you could see other attractions from one attraction. And the other thing that I didn't like that OG brought up was those nets. I forgot where we were though.
Dark Universe.
Dark Universe. There's these nets on Dark Universe that
the curse of the werewolf. Yeah, that I remember when he and I did the first reaction of the walkthrough, and I thought, oh man, like why would they? I mean, I can understand it to an extent, but but that's the issue that you have when you constantly have roller coasters is because that particular ride you can take your stuff on.
Okay.
So that's probably why they added the netting, but I think it looks very unappealing, to be honest.
Tacky.
It looks bad that you have a roller coaster going through Darkmoor, because I think Darkmoor aesthetically looks phenomenal. I don't know why you would have a roller coaster track running through it. To me,
George, sorry to cut you off. See, for me, that actually kind of bothers me more, because you just have this coaster track going straight through like your line of sight within that land, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like this is just ugly. Like, why is it doing that? I mean, it's cool. People.
Would you rather be a dark ride?
Huh?
Should have been another dark ride though. I mean, could you? That's probably their thought. Like, why would I put two dark rides?
Well, I mean, you can have a coaster, but why do you have the track literally cutting right through like the center of like your walking path?
I would have the whole thing indoors.
Yeah,
I would do a coaster, but I would do it indoor and just have the building kind of like the facade of
the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, this is where I think we get into like the nerd bubble a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I feel like the normies are not. Like, I agree with you guys, but like I don't know if the normies care enough.
Who's it for? That's the thing. Who is this park for?
Well, I hope the normies, when it's pouring down raining and that roller coaster is closed, then they better not bitch and complain, because if it was indoors, they'd be riding the damn thing.
Call George. Normies at home, if you go there and it's raining, call George.
Theme parks assemble. Hey, everyone, actually just got home from Epic tonight. Such a great park. Could possibly be my favorite park.
Wow.
But gotta wait until the new car smell goes away. Love it. Theme park assemble. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course.
And honestly, that's what I've been hearing from a lot of people. Like our buddy Slimer, obviously friend of the channel. He said the same thing. Like I had a long conversation with him on the phone the other day. He said he loves this place. Does it have flaws? Absolutely. But every park is going to have something, right? But he loved it. He was like, "This is a dope park, dude. This is a lot of cool stuff here." So
let's jump into. You guys want to do Isle of Burke, or do you want to jump into Dark Universe?
Let's do Dark Universe. I like Monster
Universe. All right, let's walk. So we're walking through that portal now. Let's bring up that portal. What do you think of this portal walking through?
Oh, I think it sets the stage perfectly. Like,
would you rather see something different, or do you like how they have everything on top and then you're just going through it? Like,
no, I kind of like that, to be honest with you, because I feel like that all the portals are significant to one another, but they all kind of have their own distinct look depending on like what you're going through. I feel like the portal was kind of used as like not necessarily the main focus, but just enough to grab your attention. And I kind of like that. And then as you're walking through, specifically for Dark Universe, you see like the purple electricity like on the ceiling, like that sets the stage. And you know, you get the and then you get a like a slogan, so to speak, and it's on the one for Dark Universe, it's alive, you know. So I think that really that hypes me up, like to walk through and get ready what is prepared, you know?
And this is really smart. Yeah, well, this is really smart for Universal, because Universal now, I think for too long, Universal has been like way too minion heavy, you know? Right? And like Universal now is leaning into what created that studio, right? The monsters, like 100+ years ago, because Disney was really built on like, well, obviously Mickey Mouse, but then you have like the fairy tale, like the Snow Whites and all that, right? And Disney has leaned on that forever. Universal, you know, they kind of lost their way for a little bit there, I think, but they're starting to really lean into what made them Universal, you know? So now we got the Monsters Land, you know, now they're leaning into what makes Universal. And look, you know, it's a smaller land. So I think initially they were probably hesitant about this. Like, are the normies going to be on board with the monsters? Well, it's proven that the normies love the monsters area. That attraction is one of the best. Seriously, everyone that comes off that Monsters Unchained is saying this is like the best attraction for this generation. It's absolutely incredible, right? So now that Universal has seen that people will support the monsters, they love this monster thing, I hope Universal leans more into it, man, because I think that's what makes Universal special. That's the identity of this studio. You know what I'm saying? And so to lean into that is really, really smart. And I think it's a smart move. I think that's why Disney has been so successful, is because they've leaned into what built that studio and that nostalgia. And I think Universal to lean into that more and more and more, you can't go wrong, dude.
Is this Universal's version of Star Wars?
I think it's better.
I was just going to say, I think it actually looks better.
I think it's better.
Now, to Disney's credit, we're also going to compare what today's technology is back to when they were doing Rise. So I feel like that's really not a fair comparison, like to put Rise up against Monsters Unchained. But if you are going to look at it through a technological standpoint, yes, it is far more superior, I feel like, based off of what I've seen, than Rise of the Resistance. And I seem like I came off a little bit strong of the negativity with Epic Universe, but here's the thing. I like to start off with the negativity so I could finish strong with the positives. And that's where I kind of got like all my negatives at. And that's basically what you saw my rant for the past almost 40 minutes. But for the most part, now going into the positive aspects, I think aside from the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster and the mosquito netting is what I call it, as far as the land itself, I think is architecturally breathtaking. It definitely gives off that feel of that classic Universal Monsters. Monsters Unchained, honestly, on top of like Battle of the Ministry, like those are the two main rides that I'm very curious about, because I've heard from people that even Battle of the Ministry, sometimes for them anyways, is more superior than Monsters Unchained. And I'm thinking, like, how is that even possible? Because of what I've seen with Monsters Unchained, it seems like nothing can beat it. But a lot of people are saying Battle of the Ministry is doing it for them. And I've watched a video of it, and visually, and I had a conversation with Ebba about this, that visually it looks cool, but it has to be something with the sensation of the ride that like is winning people over.
Yeah. Tones, I'm curious. Have you seen any video of this Monsters ride?
I have not. I don't think we saw it on that video we went through, did we?
Yeah. We played it. We get in trouble, huh?
No, you probably won't actually, because I think Fresh Baked actually. Let me see if I can find it. Gentlemen, talk amongst yourself.
Do it. So theme park.
I'll look it up, OG.
You got it?
Dark
Okay,
Universe is a smaller land. The tavern in the back is too small, and don't forget the werewolf has no lockers. Oh, that brings up a good point. Only fast food or what is it? Not sit down, no sit down restaurants, right? It's only fast serve or quick serve.
Well, the steakhouse, the Dracula Steakhouse, I believe.
It's not a steakhouse, though. Like you don't. It's not an actual. Like it's not like Le Cellier or whatever it's called.
I thought it was.
No, is it? I thought it was a quick serve.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, did they just call it a steakhouse because like a steak like of Dracula, like steak to the heart, or is it an actual steakhouse?
Well, I hope it's a. I mean, I thought it was a steakhouse. I thought you sat down and it was like a legit thing. Like, I mean, Theme Park Assemble with the steakhouse. Is it a sit down or is it like just like a quick serve thing? I thought it was more of a sit down situation. It might be kind of similar to three broomsticks at Wizarding World, to be fair, where it's kind of like that in between kind of thing.
And I'd be okay with that. I mean,
yeah,
I would
me too. I don't care.
Full sit down, but I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
you haven't seen any of this yet, Tony?
No, I don't think we went into.
Oh, really quick. Yeah, the steakhouse is a sit down with QR on the table.
There we go. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Dope,
yeah, I must have read that wrong on that too.
Tones, you're gonna this is gonna blow your freaking mind, bro. This ride is crazy. I can't wait for you to see it. This is wild, bro.
I don't know if he has music, so I don't want.
Shout out to Dave over at Fresh Baked.
Appreciate it.
Yes. And people are actually saying like to go through the standby, no matter how long of a wait it is, because they said the queue itself is just phenomenal.
Dude, as I get older, I'm all about the queue. Like I love queues. If you give me a good ass queue, I'll stand in that queue for 2 hours, 3 hours.
Well, here's the thing. This is what Disney really kind of started.
Wait, 1 second. Sorry, Abba. Monster's a great ride on one of my top 3 great Q2. One of his top. That's a big statement.
I'm telling you, man, people love this thing. People love this thing. Look at this queue. It's beautiful.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, that's what Disney really understood was, it's not just having a great immersive, like, ride, like the ride portion. You want to have the story start when you get in line in the queue. The queue is the story. It's the build up to the attraction, to the ride itself. And now with this is fucking phenomenal. This is
dude.
Cool.
And it's not over the top. Like they're just using regular looking boxes, regular looking like hutches that they're putting stuff inside, chalkboards. Like it's not these ridiculous looking things, and it's still paying off.
Oh, it's dope, dude. I like how they're kind of Ordinary Adventures. I like how they're kind of like showing you, like they have like the models of like the skeleton, like the muscular system of like a human being, because they're building Frankenstein, and that's dope, dude. And the chalkboards, all the science behind it. This is really cool, smart.
And we're still in the ride, right? Like this is the queue.
This is the queue.
See, Toads, and what I love too is like that. This is like next level queuing, right? Because take out like the bars, it doesn't look like a line, right? Like they make it try to look like just an actual walk through the environment type of deal.
Yeah,
100%.
Dude, that's wild. And then you just saw all the electricity and stuff, dude. That's
theme park assemble. Quick question: you said that Monsters is your top 3 for great queue. What's your other 2? I'm just curious.
It was that top 3 for the ride or queue?
I thought he meant by queue.
That's what I thought too. That's why I freaked out a little bit. Because I'm like, that's pretty fucking bold.
Well, he says one of my top 3, and then he says great queue too. Like
so I think it's one of his top rides.
Okay,
that's how I interpret it.
Top 3 queues. That's pretty good.
Go ahead, Webba.
So it's one of his top 3 rides and top 3 for queue. So
wow. Okay. Yeah, I want to know both. What your other 2 are, if you can drop them for us.
What were you gonna say, Webba?
Oh yeah. So Theme Park Assemble said the steakhouse is sit down with QR on the table.
Yeah, QR on the table.
Wow.
Oh, dude, I love that. Like this kind of like this gothic kind of like cathedral thing with the electricity running through it. Such a cool vibe, man. So Frankenstein. Like you can't get more Frank.
It gives you like a permanent of HHN. Like everything you get with HHN that is temporary, you get on a massive scale with this queue alone.
Yeah. No, well said, man.
Theme Park Assemble says top 3 rides: Ministry, Monsters, and Stardust. Top 3 queues: Mario Kart, Monsters, and Ministry.
Okay.
So you open up that King Worms Theme Park Assemble. With Ministry and Monsters, like what do you put Ministry over Monsters or Monsters over Ministry?
I mean, George. Honestly, bro, they're both really impressive, dude.
They are. Oh yeah, like I don't even know. I hope I can get on Ministry when I get down there because I would really like to nitpick the comparison because they really do seem like they're like on kind of like neck and neck.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys something real quick. You guys haven't gone yet, right? This isn't open yet. Now, what is like when you go into a new park? Obviously, there's not many new parks that people just go to. I know. Obviously, if you go to like a different city or a different country, there's new parks that you haven't been to. But when you go to something like this and it's so active and there's not rides that you haven't been on, do you guys look for the little things that you can talk about or little things that you dislike, or do you just enjoy what you see in front of you?
I do a little bit of both, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy the vibe. I enjoy what I'm experiencing. But like as a theme park nerd, I do sort of notice those little details though. Like the sightline thing would probably be something I would notice. But would it ruin my experience though? No, it wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But I'm kind of doing both. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, I would do the same. And I think honestly, with the nitpicking that I would do between Ministry and Monsters is not necessarily nitpicking of a negative sort, but more of positive because they both seem so high end on storytelling and on a technological standpoint. So now I'm trying to figure out which one I would put over the other, even if it's just by a hairline.
What really got me lately is the flow of things. So I want something to flow really well. If I can't navigate through here, or I have to walk through 2 or 3 different paths multiple times in the same land just to be able to see everything, that starts making me feel like I'm missing out. And I had that experience at the zoo, the San Diego Zoo. There was just so many different pathways you can go down. I felt like I missed out on a lot of different animals to see. So something like this where they're kind of funneling you in and having you just spread out, I love that. But yes, it would bother me if I saw the ride, but it wouldn't ruin my whole trip. I would just talk shit about it.
I'm not sure if you answered this or not. Did you?
Did the steakhouse have vampire team members in the restaurant? Because every video I've seen, I haven't seen any. That's probably for you, Theme Park Assemble. Theme Park Assemble, if you want to join in, just let me know, brother. I'll bring you on right now.
You know what I'm saying? Send them the link. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, dude, that Tones, that's an animatronic, that Frankenstein.
That's
Is
awesome,
that dope?
bro. It looks so good.
It's so perfect.
Theme Park Assemble, that would probably be me. Like, I feel like it would be so close. I don't even know if I would even be able to decide.
Yeah, Assemble said he's down. He can join.
Okay, I don't know how to get you
a link.
Let's go. Come on in.
He could definitely take over for me because he'll probably know more than I do. Definitely gonna know more than I do.
If anyone has him on Twitter or on Instagram or anything like that, if you want to send him a link, I would love to have him on. That'd be great.
I don't. Theme Park Assemble.
I'll look him up.
Yeah. Thanks, Tones. Appreciate you.
Awesome, dude. We're about to get an exclusive. Okay, I'm okay with this. Love it.
Yeah.
I think out of every land so far, I am the most excited for this. I love Universal Monsters. I grew up watching Universal Monsters. Kids watching it, and once I heard that this was going to be a thing, it really like made me excited. I don't like the werewolf thing. I wish that the werewolf was indoors, and I wish it had its own like storyline where it was like animatronics and a whole bunch of stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. But at the same time, I'm just happy to have it, and I think a lot of people I think would just be happy to have this. And not only that, you're getting a top of the line ride. Like your first main ride is one of the best rides that you could have created with all the technology and the weather. Look at the weathering on the wall.
Bro,
that's fucking awesome,
dude. It's sick. And then with the lightning stuff, it's such a cool vibe, dude. Now here's the thing: the mosquito netting, as George calls it, for the werewolf coaster. A theme park assemble was saying it's because they don't have lockers.
Okay, so it is the lockers.
Yeah, but that's a fixable thing. You know, they could add lockers one day.
And what's cheaper, adding lockers or putting a whole bunch of fucking netting everywhere?
Right.
They do have those facial recognition lockers now.
That's weird.
Hey, OG, I put the link in private chat, so when he joins, he's gonna take over for me.
Oh, gotcha.
For this video, the one that's playing.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay,
or Marcus, bring
whatever you want. You're more than happy to stay, dude. I would like.
No, I'm gonna hop off.
Don't leave me. Don't leave me here with them. I'm scared.
He's scared.
I will say though, every time I see like this walkthrough of this queue, it always reminds me of my ex-mother-in-law's house.
Melissa said it seems like you can't really see the werewolf on the coaster, and I shit you not, I thought the same thing. I have not seen this werewolf at all. I agree
because what people were saying, because it's a constant spinning coaster, depending on the position you're in when you're going through the barn, if you're going backwards, you're not going to see him. So I don't even know like what the point is, why they even would have him there if not everybody could see him. That's where I wish that if you're going to give us a great like attraction like what we're visualizing right now, like at least be a little bit up to par with, if you want to just give us a coaster, give us something that can kind of be in that same format.
Yeah, and that's why I think this comes back again. Would it be weird to have that as an indoor ride? There it was. I barely saw that werewolf. What do you think it would have been weird to have a second indoor roller coaster?
Yes.
Yeah. So they kind of had to go this way.
Dude, this is a ride. This is crazy.
I can't believe that. And my thing is, I still like watching the video. I don't know what is screen and what is animatronic.
A lot of people said the same thing. You can't differentiate one or the other, which that's very impressive.
And also, I was hearing the same thing about the Harry Potter ride too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, because I rewatched that a couple times. There was a part where I thought it was a screen, but it really wasn't an audio animatronic.
Damn.
This is crazy, bro. This is absolutely crazy.
Marcus, share the present the screen of the video, or OG, one of you guys.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got you.
Oops. There you go.
This is the what is this? The ride?
Yeah. Well, no, this is where we kind of left off. Right?
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Like, so is that an animatronic or is that a screen?
Yeah, I can't tell, bro. Like, oh man. Oh, he didn't. Oh, did he cut it? I thought he had the ride on here. No, maybe not.
Melissa said, "I'm surprised they couldn't focus the carts for the moment." For that moment, and have one toward the front and one at the back of the barn, or even have him coming from the top of the barn, so everyone just looks up at it, kind of like they do on the what's the ride in Disney World, the Yeti.
I sent it to your Instagram, Assemble. It's on your Instagram. I sent you the link. I'm sorry.
Dude, look at that, dude! Merch game is crazy.
By the way, I wanted to bring this up when I was on when we were talking about this, OG. Their merch is going to be through the fucking roof, dude.
Yeah. Like easily.
On every attraction, they're gonna have crazy amount of merch, and everything's gonna sell.
Yeah, this is wild, man.
Especially like monster shit, like
look at that.
Dracula, all that shit is going to be flying through the fucking shelves.
Dude, yeah, that's so cool. Look at the the creature. That's fucking cool.
Now let me ask you guys.
Come on, son. I'd buy that for myself.
if you guys saw this, right, and you would not be able to buy it anywhere else, and they upcharged it like crazy, like people would still buy this. Would you guys want, if you guys saw something that was a little bit upcharged, would you guys still buy it knowing this is the only place you could possibly buy it?
Dude, you know me. I'm cheap.
Oh yeah,
I'm a cheap motherfucker, and I already had some shit in there I would buy.
It depends on the item. If it's something that I really, really, really like, then I would. I'm not an impulse buyer. You know, I have to really like something in order to get it. But like, just for the sake of saying, ooh, you know, it's like if I'm like, I'm not really feeling it. Like, I'll leave it go. Even if it's cheap, I'll let it go. But I have to like really feel the merch.
Yeah. Last question before I leave. Oh, my bad, Webb. Did you want to answer that? Would you buy that?
I mean, I'm not. Here's the thing. I like merch, but I don't really buy a lot of it just because I'm more of a practicality person, right? So if I don't have a place to store shit, I'm not gonna buy it because I don't have anywhere to put it, you know. So
True.
I like to, window shop basically and look at all the merch. I'm like, oh, that's dope, that's sick. And if I had a lot more space and to collect stuff, then yeah, I would buy more things, honestly. It's especially because, Tones, to your point, right, is when me, George, Abby, and OG were at Universal, a few months back, I was complaining about some of the food there, right? Mm-hmm. And George had his stiff fucking cheese on his cheeseburger, and I was complaining about why these theme parks, they charge so much for shitty food, right? So
that cheese is still inside me.
Yeah. Why you gotta say it like that? Go ahead.
Sorry, Toast. But anyways, but going back to your point, yeah, I mean, these parks are going to upcharge the crap out of their products, right? Whether it's food, merch, or whatever. But yeah, definitely, like if I see something cool, like a really cool T-shirt or a hoodie or something, oh yeah, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. Real quick before I leave, I want to ask you guys a question. How far is Epic from Disneyland?
Disney World.
Oh, Disney World.
Yeah,
oh,
Disney World,
it's.
yes.
I think it's like about maybe 20-minute drive, George, if I'm not mistaken, roughly.
Yeah,
it's in the same bubble.
Yeah, about 25 minutes.
So that being said, do you think this could? Obviously, they're gonna be competition, but do you think it's gonna take away from Disney World that much, or do you think everything is just gonna level out?
It's gonna take a day or two. I think it's either gonna take a day or two off of a 5-day week, or they're gonna extend their days to a 7-day. Still get your 5 days in the parks at Disney, and then take the other 2 at Disney World.
Yeah, here's the dilemma. And also, real quick before I start, Theme Park Assemble.
Theme Park Assemble, what's up?
What's up, brother? Gentlemen, what's going
Thanks
on?
for joining.
Appreciate it.
He froze. I think he froze. Yeah, he's froze. Yeah, he's froze.
He's just talking, and his mouth's not moving, guys. That's all.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Check.
Check.
We can hear you.
We hear you. Can't see you.
Uh-oh. Dark Universe.
Dark Universe.
He's live at the park right now, guys.
I'm good on my side. I don't know if you can see it on your side.
Here, let me add you.
Oh, he's off.
It looks like it's working.
I can hear him.
Oh, no, it's not working.
But I can't see him. That's weird. Yeah, it's a black screen.
That's weird because I can see it on StreamYard. Let me check. Oh, it is a black screen. I'm looking on YouTube too. Yeah, why is that?
That's weird. Yeah, because your name shows up.
Yeah.
And when you first came in, you were fine.
You were fine.
But no audio. Yeah, let me.
That's strange.
It's
but to answer your question, Candid, yeah, I think that it's gonna be kind of weird. I think with this whole thing, right? Because I think obviously people are gonna flock to Epic Universe, right? I just don't know where it's going to cannibalize, because it can also cannibalize 1 or 2 of the other Universal parks, where they go to Epic, but then they skip the other 2 Universal parks.
Yeah.
Or are they going to go to all 3 Universal parks and skip a Disney one? See, that's why I don't know where this is going to fall. That's kind of where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
I think that's where it will level out, in my opinion, because I feel like each person has their own prerogative of like what they're willing to give up. Like a family might be able to say, hey, you know what? I feel like giving up Universal Studios Park for Epic Universe. Another family might say, you know what? I feel like giving up Animal Kingdom. So I feel like it's like a back and forth, kind of like a yin and yang, where I think it'll just like level out.
Let me ask you this, George. Do you think it depends on how many times you've been though? So say you're a family of 5, it's your first time going, you don't travel as much, and you're only going to go to Florida one time in the next 10 years. What do you do? And you can only go for 5 days.
So if they're not big travelers and they want to experience Epic, but they're huge Disney fans, honestly, I would say do like the 4 Disney parks and then maybe the 1 day at Epic. But the problem with that is if you had booked out at the time when the Epic Universe sales came out, you could not get into Epic Universe without booking a minimum of a 2-day package with the other parks. See, now you can like purchase single day tickets and what have you. But if you are kind of caught in the web, so to speak, where you had to do a 2 or 3 day vacation package with Universal, but you're only allotted the days, then you're going to cut out 2 out of the 4 Disney parks.
Yeah, and see, I'll bring up this point. Me being
real quick before you get into it, I'm gonna hop off, boys. Love y'all.
All right, have a good night, Tone.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Catch y'all later.
Okay,
hey, Tones.
Bye. Goodbye. He's still here.
Hold on, bitch.
I'm trying.
There we go. Try unplugging your camera and then just plugging it hardwiring back in. Being from California, I understand what you're saying, George, and I could probably give up going to Magic Kingdom. But at the same time, it's my first time. See, that's where it gets weird. If I wasn't living in California, I haven't been to Disneyland a million times, then I would need to go to Magic Kingdom.
Right.
Last time I went to Florida with the family, we went for a week, but we only had 2 days in the parks. And we did a hopper pass for both days, and we knocked out both parks on both days. It was the most magical, most craziest no one there days that we've ever seen in my life at any Disney park. So we actually got to ride and do everything on both days. But if it was just a normal day, I would have been fucked. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do shit. So I don't really think I can give up my first time and not go to Disney all 4 parks. But at the same time, if my kids really wanted to go do like Isle of Berk, what would I sacrifice? And I'm thinking this over as I'm talking. I don't know which one I would sacrifice. No, they're not paying for it. It's my happiness. I'm the kid.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly right. I would sacrifice my kid's happiness. Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, yeah, like fuck that shit. Like no way. It's coming out of my wallet. Like I'm sorry, when you fork out a portion of this vacation, then you will have a say so. Otherwise, you're going where I'm going.
Well, and people think he's joking. He is not joking.
I have not joking.
But so now I'm bringing the conversation to this next level. If you had to cut one of the 4 parks out, which one are you cutting out? And you've never been to it before, though.
One of the Disney parks.
Yep, and you've never been to Disney.
Never been there before. Ooh.
Yep, and you have to substitute it for 1 day at Epic Universe.
Okay, if I didn't know better, because now I'm a Disneyland guy, so I thought Magic Kingdom was like the weakest of all 4 Disney parks. To be honest with you, like super weak. If I didn't know better though, going into it, like I've never been there before, I would probably say Hollywood Studios. Going into it, I would assume that was the weakest.
Because you had that mentality going there. You thought, okay, we're gonna go, it's gonna be okay. Like, but we ended up spending the whole day there.
We did. Now theme park assemble. If you want to just put your like logo or something, so because we can hear you pretty good, we just can't see you. But I mean, if your audio's on and you want to just go like incognito mode, we can do that. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. I don't use StreamYard a lot, so
yeah.
If you go into your settings, you can go down to camera and then just see if your camera's actually if your camera's the main thing on there.
Oh, maybe I switch it to this.
Well, I was asking, is this camera blocked like this?
No, it's good to go. It shows that it's on and everything. It's just not working. It shows it works on this side, but not on the other side.
That's weird. Yeah, because when you first came in, I saw you. You were fine. Like we could see the video, and then all of a sudden you froze and you never came back.
So I do think that. See, that's hard because the first time I went to I can't remember, to Disney World, we went to all the 4 parks and we hung out, we did everything, and Hollywood Studio was a half day for us. for sure. But the last time we went, I still felt like, even though we had to do hopper pass, I still felt like we got to do a lot more than I did the first time.
If you really want my opinion, I feel like I'm probably going to get like put through the ringer of saying this, but oh well. I honestly feel like all of Walt Disney World's parks are not really, if you really look at them, they're not all full day parks. I feel like it's how you make of them.
Yeah,
I think it's how you stretch them out of like what you do. But if you're looking at it through an attraction standpoint, none of them really are up to par of being a full day park.
Not like Disneyland.
No, I mean, not like Disneyland.
The last couple times we went to Disneyland, we didn't even go to California Adventure. I stopped buying popper passes there because it was just easier for us to stay at Disney all day.
Well, and the problem with that is I think that if Disney were to lower the price for DCA, more people would do a single day.
Oh yeah. Yep. And that also plays a big part of it. OG, what do you think, since you went now, like, what do you think would be the weakest park if, well, I guess you just said it, but what, like, as far as weakest park goes, what is the weakest park for Disney World?
I think Magic Kingdom. I mean, because I'm from California, so Disneyland is like the GOAT. That's like the GOAT castle park. It's stacked. We got so many e-tickets. It's ridiculous over there. So when I went over to Magic Kingdom, I'm like, I would joke around with George, like, this is live action Disneyland. It was so weak compared to Disneyland. It like technically checks all the boxes, but it had like no soul to it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I would skip Magic Kingdom. And Theme Park Assemble, you look great, brother. Just do that, man. Like, that's perfect. We can hear you just fine. So you have your logo, you're good to go.
All right, so let's jump back over to Theme Parks Assemble. Thanks for joining us, by the way. I really appreciate it. Give us the lowdown. What did you think? How was it?
No, we can't hear him.
Now we can't hear him.
Now you can't hear me.
Oh,
okay. There we go.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, good. Jeez Louise, Papa Jesus.
So
okay.
I know we didn't get into all the lands so far. We still got some time. So we're gonna go over Celestial Park with you, and then let's go over the Dark Universe with you.
Okay, cool. So first things first, I actually stayed at the Terra Luna Resort last night, just in order to get the early bird special, as it were. So Celestial Park, I think I do like it because it's not like a theme park, or it has like the centerpiece like all the Disney parks have, with the exception of kind of like what I call the Bellagio Hotel right in the back. Like, you can see it and it's nice, and it has a whole like park, not a theme park, but just like a normal place where you can just like walk around or chill, or, you know, just like a normal park, or have a picnic almost. You know, that's what it feels like in the middle. So I do like it.
We lost him again.
Oh, we lost him. Yeah.
Some benches that have like umbrellas, basically, so you can sit down and hopefully get some shade, you know, permitting the sun's in the right direction for you. But I do like Celestial Park just as a basic hub, because I do feel like going through all the portals and coming out, you can get to the other portals quickly. So I do appreciate that, because there are more than like one way to get across from, let's say, Super Nintendo to Isle of Berk, or Dark Universe and like Harry Potter. So there's multiple different ways that you can get there. There's one before the carousel, one in the middle of the carousel and the water fountain, and then one on the backside where Helios is at. So you don't have to go all the way around. Like, you have different directions to get there.
Do you feel like there's less trees than like Epcot? I know Epcot's that last time I went, that was one of the issues too. So we're trying to run from shade to shade because it was just too much. There's nothing out there.
Oh,
I can't even remember the last time I saw a tree at Epcot. When did I see a tree? No, I think it probably has less. Yeah, I would say it's very close, but I think it just has less. But that's because the trees haven't matured yet. So hopefully when they get bigger, that'll give us some shade. But yeah, there's barely any shade.
Gotcha. So moving into, so still in Celestial Park, like, how like menacing, I guess that's the weird word used, but in general, how menacing is that ride? Is Stardust Racer? Does it look big? I mean, is it like you walk in, do you see it and you're like, oh shit, this is a big motherfucker? Or is it just like, here's another roller coaster?
The angle that you come in at, you don't notice what it can do. until you actually get there. So you see it like, you can see like it goes up, right? And you're like, oh, okay, it just goes up and then comes back down. That ain't nothing, right? But until you actually ride it and feel the G-forces of that up and down, like you don't
keep losing him.
Cut out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. So I didn't respect Stardust Racers until I went on it. And a lot of people do compare it to Velocicoaster, but to me, Velocicoaster is more intense, and it just grabs you by the arm and says, you're doing this right now. It's not like how Hulk or other coasters are. You can actually enjoy it because it's not too forceful. And that's what I feel Stardust is. It's like almost on that line before Velocicoaster gets too intense.
Got you. Okay. And as far as theming goes, what's your thoughts on Celestial Park theming?
It's just a park. It's not really, I don't consider it its own portal, I guess you can say. Okay. But I mean, it's just, I feel like it's just the hub to get to everywhere else that you need to go to. And then it has a really good coaster. That's what I feel.
So you don't really think that it was like a main priority for Universal to kind of like pull out all the stops with Celestial, just like enough just to give you something, but it's more as what you say, kind of like the connective tissue to the other portals.
Oh yeah, I feel like they tried to do kind of like a city walk type park area to get you to the other locations, because there's a lot of food and a couple of shops there. So if you need food, there's like 5 restaurants literally like in Celestial Park. So I feel like they tried to make it like a little mini city walk in a way, just to get to the other portals.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that explains why, because like I was saying earlier in the show, was like I feel like this area was kind of, if you look at it from like a land perspective, it looked like the least budgeted land. So that's probably why maybe that was intentional.
Yeah, it kind of does feel like that. Like it didn't want to do too much. It wanted to.
Weird that it keeps cutting out like that.
Yeah.
Did you lose me?
Yep. Yeah, there you go. You're back.
Okay. So like, yeah, I feel like they did like just enough, but like it looks great. It looks beautiful. The water in the back by the Helios, it has like a whole area where you can sit down around the fountain area. But yeah, it's just shops, and then the carousel looks great at night, and then definitely Stardusters at night as well. So yeah, I think it was just like a little. They didn't want to do too much because it felt like they were spending most of it on the portals themselves and Super Nintendo and Isle of Berk and everything.
Perfect. All right, so moving towards back over to Dark Universe now. Like, give us the lowdown. How impressive is that part of the park?
It's actually pretty impressive. I thought it would be a tad bigger, but for what it is actually really beautiful. Like,
oh no,
the suspense is killing us.
Yeah. Well, to kind of like while we're waiting for him to come back, like I think that. Oh, there you go. He's back.
Okay. I don't know why it keeps cutting out like that. I don't know. Maybe because I'm on Wi-Fi or something. That could be the case. But no, when you go in, I think it has probably the best inside portal with the screen and how it does like electrifying and stuff. It's definitely not the best portal, period, but it is the best for the screen itself. Okay. And then when you come in, you make a left turn, and then there's the fountain. Das Steakhouse is on the right, and then right in front of you is Frankenstein's Manor. So it's just barely big enough, and then there is a walkway, to Frankenstein. So,
oh,
yeah, it's just leaving us on all these cliffhangers today. That's weird. That
Wow, I lost him. Okay.
All right. Anyways.
Well, I think with the size of the land, I think that was Universal sort of hedging its bets a little bit. I think they were probably going into Dark Universe thinking, okay, We have this in-house IP, which is really the heart and soul of the studio. But are the normies going to embrace it? Well, let's take the risk. Let's go ahead and build this land. But we'll start it off kind of small and kind of see how it goes. Now, obviously, they've gotten an amazing reception with Dark Universe. So I think we can definitely see if there's room. I think we could definitely see an expansion of some kind. But I think they wanted to start small because they kind of wanted to dip their toe into this monsters thing and see if the normies were on board. So.
Yeah, and I'm for sure, and I agree with you, OG. I feel like in time they will expand because they were already in the mindset of adding a third attraction, which was going to be based off of the creature from the Black Lagoon. And I think they were going to have some sort of kind of water-based attraction.
Is that scrapped or is that going to be an expansion?
I think it was, man, I don't want to quote him. I don't want to misquote him, but our friend Theme Park Wizard, I thought he said that that's part of the expansion.
Good. Okay. Because you need a water ride. Especially in Florida. That's what Disney's lacking, dude. I don't get how we only have one water ride, two water rides, and then you have a weird indoor water ride.
Like Canada, though, you have two water parks over there.
Yeah, but I mean, so this brings up a good point. I have 5 days. Am I going to go to the water park for two of them?
I don't know. Are you?
No. Fair question. I'm not. Good question, sir. Let's move to the next land. Let's go to Mario. So I have not been to Universal Studios Hollywood, so I have not seen Mario yet. To me, this looks like a little fucking box that is raised and stacked on top of each other.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so that's what I thought it was, and I remember watching all these people funnel through this fucking tube, and I'm like, fuck that. I don't need to go do that.
Yeah, it's called semen.
Called what?
It's called semen.
God.
And there's George for you. But watching this going up the escalator and everything, it looks bigger. Like this place looks like it's a little fucking George. And what do you guys think of the fucking Mario bullshit there?
No, you haven't been, but you're spot on. It's crazy. Like, no, it's 100%. That's exactly what it is. It's a box, fucking stacked. Yeah, the one in Hollywood you walk in, it's very, very tight. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad land. I don't want to.
Are you trying to set him up?
Like,
I do have one, but I think after the Steven comment, I think I'll hold off. I like to space out my innuendos.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
But if you want me to really say, if you're going to put a box on top of a box on top of a box, hey, that's my kind of night.
That's great. Fantastic. Yeah, no, I think it's a Toontown. It's a Toontown, but I made this I kind of made this point on one of my recent videos where it's like, I feel like Toontown though is a little stronger. And the reason why is I feel like Toontown is crazy, but there's areas that you can decompress a little bit. It's not all crazy, like the whole thing, like constant. Nintendo World kind of struggles with this where it's like you walk in and it's like everything, bro. It's like the colors, the sound, the noises, everything's jumping at you and there's no way to escape it. At least out here in Hollywood, right? So it's a little bit like overload of the sensor of all your senses is a little overload for me, and I get a little bit anxious in there. You know what I'm saying? But
I would say that. Sorry, OG, I was gonna say I think that Toontown is better than Nintendo World here. It's because Super Nintendo World, it's a square box, right? That, like I said before, I went there and after I went there. It looked like a square box. That's what it is, right? And to your point, there's too many things happening all around you. It's very compact and small, and there's one attraction. Toontown has 3 attractions. It's spread out, and it's not like everything's all up in your face.
Yes, exactly. You have an e-ticket, I think, arguably a D+ e-ticket with Mickey and Minnie's, right? You don't really have that in Nintendo. At least out here in Hollywood. I'm just going by Hollywood because I haven't been to Epic. I don't want to speak on that. I haven't been there. It's not fair to do that. But Hollywood though, like Mario Kart is like a C+, right? Wouldn't you say, George? Like a C+?
I would say like a C+. Yeah, if you're going to kind of like overall put everything into perspective. Because as I said before, I'm not a huge fan of the ride, but I think honestly, if it was just a dark ride, an immersive dark ride, that would actually have bumped up to like an A- for me.
Yeah.
But it's with like the VR and the like everything around you, and it's like, again, it's almost like the land itself is basically what you're doing in Mario Kart. Everything is like happening all at once with the VR and the practical sets and the visuals, and you have to kind of shoot these targets. It's like just too much. It's like, I'd rather just enjoy the ride, take the goggles off, and just enjoy the ride. Now, going by the Super Nintendo World, I feel like out here, like in California, they should just call it Super Mario World, because that's basically what it is. It doesn't feel like Nintendo. But Super Nintendo World out in Florida, and OG and I talked about this many times on Orange Grove 55, but it could be not a universal problem, but it could be a Nintendo issue, because they could be like very sticklers of like what is deemed appropriate in their eyes for a theme park attraction. Because when you look at all the attractions like in a wide scope, in my opinions, you look at Mario Kart, you look at the Yoshi people mover, so to speak, I call it, and the Donkey Kong, they're kind of geared more towards for younger kids, probably in my eyes. So I feel like I hope in time Nintendo and Universal can kind of come to an agreement to do a little bit more of a intense kind of.
Zelda might come into play, though.
Yeah.
Zelda is more of that teen or older person.
And I would prefer them to put Zelda in Epic Universe, because one, Zelda to me signifies Epic.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It falls into the Super Nintendo world. You're adding another IP to that. And 3, that means they can leave the Lost Continent go, so they won't touch my mythos.
Where the fuck is our Pokemon? Like, why haven't we not gotten Pokemon anywhere?
I'm honestly, I think because Universal already confirmed that they're going to expand Epic Universe already, and the other 2 parks somewhere along the line. I don't know which park it is, but Pokemon is going to be, and that I feel like alone, that's going to be a game changer, because Pokemon is the biggest franchise in the world that you will ever be able to get into.
And that's the thing, though. So now think of it this way: does that deserve a little mini chunk of a plot, or do you give it its own land and give it 2 or 3 rides?
See, that's what I would do. I would literally create like a Pokemon island. You have the Pokemon tournaments, the gym, like you could do like the Pokemon Snap kind of thing. Me personally, that fits more into an Epic as well. Or if they wanted to put it in Islands of Adventure or Islands of Adventure, that's where a lot of people were saying it would replace the Simpsons area in the studios. I don't think Pokemon fits well in the studio. In my opinion.
I think it needs to go attached to Nintendo World. It just makes sense. I mean, and that's the other side of it too. Like, I don't think anyone would complain about getting multiple Nintendo IPs, because it's all different.
Well, wasn't that the initial plan that they were going to do for Super Nintendo World? I remember seeing Star Fox, Kirby, Zelda, Pokemon, Mario, Luigi's Mansion. Like, I remember seeing a whole map that, me personally, I feel like Super Nintendo could have probably had their own park.
Yeah. But the thing is that this is what scares me. And so far, Universal has not really done this. But what Disney did with Spider-Man in California, you get one of the biggest characters and you give it the shittiest fucking ride possible. And that's what I'm kind of scared about Pokemon. I want them to give it the same treatment like they did with Donkey Kong. Like, give us something new and innovative, or try something different. Don't give us a weird little Yoshi ride that goes around the circle, which I would probably still ride it, but you get where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
But as far as that goes, Assemble, how do you feel about it?
I'm back. Can you hear?
Yeah, we got you. We don't got you.
Nope. Heard you briefly, Assemble, and then it cut out.
Why does it keep doing that? I have no idea.
Okay, now we can hear you.
We're good? Okay. Are we still talking about Celestial or Dark Universe?
we're in Nintendo land.
Oh, okay. The best portal. I have to say it. You go up and you're going through the pipe, and it sounds like the pipe, and you come out of Princess's castle, Princess Peach's, and it's literally looks like me playing Super Mario 64 again. Like it brings me back there. Me trying to 100% it, no life it, getting all 120 stars, going through the Babam portraits, like that. It has that whole feel, right? When you come out, you are correct. It is very, I don't want to call it like it's a cluster, but it's a lot. It's all just like stacked on top of each other, and the whole world's on levels. So,
he left us hanging.
Okay, so real quick, while we're waiting for him,
can you hear me? You good?
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Okay.
Very disappointed, Sam. Thanks for joining. Real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down there. Assemble also just got back from Epic Universe. So if you have any Epic Universe questions, please leave them down in the chat. We'll get to you. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, they had to kick me out. There is elevators, so I will point that out. But Bowser, Mario Kart is on the second floor, which is where you come out of in the portal. Donkey Kong and Yoshi Mover, you have to go downstairs.
Okay.
So, and then Donkey Kong has its own little section, which is basically as big, if not probably bigger than Super Nintendo World. And then everyone has their own like meet and greet. So Peach is right by her castle to the right. You go
Okay. So I was gonna say while we're waiting for him, you guys brought up the fact of having Nintendo having its own park, right? What you can do is kind of maybe Disneyland style it or something, or in a Universal way or something. Is you could have like Mushroom Kingdom is over here, right? And then you could have Hyrule over here, and then you could have like the Lilac system for Star Fox over here, or like a type of highly advanced technical space area, which you could incorporate Star Fox, Metroid, and F-Zero, right, in its own area. Right. So what you're doing is like that. You're kind of categorizing the lands based off the theme, and then theme to those characters.
Do you think they would do that though, or do you think they're just going to mesh everything together?
Well, I think right now they're already putting Mario and stuff and Donkey Kong into the park. But if they made its own, but if they made just a Nintendo theme park, that's what I think the route that they should do is categorize different lands based off the themes of like the characters and those areas, right?
So they don't really need to be cohesive as far as the actual characters, but as far as like space themed and stuff like that, that's where you think they'd fit better together.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's to kind of utilize if you have Star Fox, you could have like again the Lilac system, right? But the Lilac system land, or whatever you want to call it, is a bunch of planets in their solar system. It's called the Lilac system. So there's there's Corneria, there's a bunch of different planets. So I don't know how you would do that. But if you just condense it all to like a space area-ish or something that's highly advanced, you can have Star Fox, Metroid, and F-Zero because they're all highly technically advanced themes.
Got it.
So, and then Mushroom Kingdom, you have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, all that stuff, right? All of the Mushroom Kingdom-y stuff. And then you want Legend of Zelda? Guess what? You get a whole Hyrule land, which I think would be dope, right? You got Link, Ganon, Zelda herself, right? And then what? Then you can figure out a one for Kirby. I'm like, what was it? Kirby's just like Dream World or something.
Yeah.
Dream World just for Kirby and all the other Kirbys and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think there is a potential for just like a Nintendo theme park by itself, because there's so much IP you can utilize, so much cool worlds and that you can build for lands in that park, in that environment, which I think would be dope. And same for Pokemon. Pokemon, like, well, what are we on now? On like in the 10th generation or something, 11th, 12th generation of Pokemon. Like they're all from like different regions and stuff. So you can literally have also a theme park just all Pokemon.
Pokemon is amazing to me in the sense of how much it withstood the test of time, so to speak. Because I grew up with Pokemon, like literally, like from the very beginning of the TV show and the trading cards and the little PVC figurines and stuff like that. And then watching as time went on, watching my son get into Pokemon, and I'm like, wow, this is the same franchise that I grew up as a kid, and it's still going, and it's still even going. He's out of Pokemon now, but the fact that there's a newer generation of kids, so if they can hit the right mark with Pokemon, think of the demographic that Pokemon would bring in of like how many generations.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
No, I absolutely. And George, and again, that's a great point because you said generations, right? Why is Disney so successful? Or at least one of the reasons they have a multi-generational following.
Exactly. And Disney has a very, very clear and solid identity. And that's why I said it's very important for Universal to lean into that monster stuff because that's Universal's identity.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, and also, too, with the Fan Fest night stuff coming up, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, Back to the Future, bro, like that shit is like being highlighted so much. And dude, and what is it? It doesn't the Stardust Racers have a flux capacitor in the back of the train.
That they do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's very, very cool. So they're leaning hard into Back to the Future. And then Assemble. Have you heard anything about the UK park? People have been speculating that it's going to be Back to the Future over there. Do you concur with that, or do you think it's going to be something else?
I haven't looked at anything into those parks. I've been so preparing myself for today that I've been just watching everything about the new park, about Epic Universe.
Nice.
So today was your first day walking into Epic Universe?
Yes, first day.
Oh, so we got you like fresh
off the tee. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
that's cool, man.
So did Epic Universe, did it meet your expectations or did it like surpass them?
We lost him.
We lost him. He's like, I'm gone, man.
I'm out. I'm curious. His
I really want to know. Like, I really want to pick his brain. Like with everything, it's a shame that it's like not working.
It's not working.
So okay,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I just want to answer Sam Chat's question. What kind of ride system would work best for a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild themed land?
Boat ride. You got to do boat ride.
Yeah.
Right? A boat ride.
Yep. But the thing is that remember he's on a raft and like does the raft stuff kind of, or he's on a horse, so we could do some kind of horse ride.
That'd be sick, dude. A horse ride would be kind of cool. You can almost do like the Flight of Passage thing, where you're like sitting and you got like and you feel like you're on a horse.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of crazy.
I don't know about ride system, OG, but I think definitely what you could use in the attraction is the I forgot what it's called. Do you remember, or Sam Chat, that little technical device you use to like manipulate the environment and stuff? I forgot what it's called, but it's like some highly advanced tool you use to like pick up objects and stuff like that. And I think in Tears of the Kingdom, you can actually like build like a bunch of different shit and like ride on it and stuff like that. Which is like, if you want YouTube, watch people build like a lot of crazy stuff with like.
Do you think Zelda would be a perfect example for them to use like the black box kind of technology? Just because like I'm not too primy with Zelda, like I know of it, but I don't know like how big the world is.
Zelda, the best way to put it, George, Zelda, like it would be basically mythos is the vibe you want.
So it's not like where you get like a different like look of like.
No, you're gonna want like that Lost Continent vibe. You don't want like a lot of screens and shit like that.
Okay, then how about this? What if it really wasn't a ride at all? Like, what if it was like an epic stunt show?
What do you think about that, Ebba? What do you think? Epic stunt show, or would you be down for that, or?
Yeah,
Again,
I mean,
I'm not too knowledgeable with Zelda, so I'm trying to like maneuver.
You can't do a stunt show for Zelda. You're wasting an IP.
It's a very, very cool franchise. Zelda's a dope franchise, dude. I love Zelda. I would go Shanghai Pirates boat ride, like what they're doing for Pandora, if they could do it. I would do that, or something along those lines. Like I like your idea. We can do too with the horse thing. I mean, if they can come up with some technology where you feel like you're riding a horse, that'd be kind of dope. But yeah, you need a big ride for Zelda.
Now, when I say I'm not
privy
to like Zelda, I'm not privy to like the newer Zelda. Like I'm used to like the older pixel, like older one, like Breath of the Wild. Now, Josh played that. I don't really know, but I heard the graphics on that was really, really good.
Yeah, no. So Breath of the Wild is the I guess you could call it. Well, not really, because I guess Wind Waker was technically the first, but in terms of open world, like this kind of the first one, really. Even though Wind Waker, like you still could travel over the water to different islands, but with Breath of the Wild, it was literally, oh look, you're Link now coming out of this cave, and now look, you got volcano over there, Hyrule Castle over here, you got snow mountains over there. Go and explore, like just huge vastness.
Yeah,
and there you go. And so it's not like you're not gridlocked into a certain path.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to think like Lost Continent or like Lord of the Ring, like this real grand scale for Zelda,
Mm-hmm. And what I have here, it's kind of hard to see, but let's see if does that work? Did it open up wider or bigger?
No.
Nope. Okay, that's weird. Oh, you know why? Let's do this. Hold on one second, people. I got something for you.
Y'all can hear me and everything, right?
Oh yeah, you're probably better.
See you and hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're moving.
What's funny is all day I work on Wi-Fi, no problems. The minute I do something like this, it just cuts out. So I actually found a direct connection. So we should.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you look way better too. So zooming in on this a little bit, they have Super Mario World or Nintendo World expansion pad 7 acres, and then you also have a 1.25 acre expansion pad from what this map is showing. And I don't know when this was updated or not, but if you're using, say you're having 8.25 acres left, that's 7 acres. I mean, do you split that in half and there's your Hyrule and there's your Nintendo or Nintendo,
well, coincidentally, you were talking earlier about having separate worlds where Donkey Kong technically has like, it's not a portal, but like it has its own little separate section and you go through. I guess it would be a barrel, so to speak. So it does have its own section off to the side. So it could technically work exactly like Webbo was saying.
Okay, so that makes sense. But my thing is, can you see Donkey Kong World from Mario though?
Nope.
But
you have to
get Alaburk right.
You have to turn to the right, and then when you turn to, it's like a little like S curve. And when you go around the S curve, you see Donkey Kong Country right there, and you go through the barrel.
That's sick,
how
bro.
linear is that land though? So if they were to say they would do 3 or 4 different expansions or 4 different parts there, would it work out if you had to walk through each land to get to each one, or would you want them to put more entrances or more portals to get into like into the other lands? Does that make sense?
Yeah, the way I see it is that maybe behind some of like the shops and everything, because you go down a flight of stairs and then to the right there's a shop, and then on the back side of the shop, that's where you do the S curve. So there could technically be an opening right there for another portal. But other than that, I think unless they rearrange some things, you would probably have to go through Donkey Kong Land, because it is on the back side. And staying at the Terra Luna, I could see the backside of the Donkey Kong ride.
Got you.
So it's right there off the street.
And so look at this map a little closer too. 20 acres at the very top behind the dueling space coaster. That's a whole new land. And I don't know if you guys heard anything about what might go there. Has anyone heard anything about that?
I haven't, but 20 acres is a big chunk of property. I mean, if you think about it, like Galaxy's Edge is like 14 acres, I think. So you can put like a Galaxy's Edge and then some in that property. I mean, that's sizable, dude. And actually, yeah, that's interesting, man. Yeah, that's a big expansion.
Because none of those lands, if you look at already what's there, Harry Potter, How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo, and Monsters, yeah, you could probably fit like 2 of those in that space if they wanted to keep the same sizable lands.
Well, if you look at them, they're all about 15 acres together, each place. So Wizarding World has its another 3.25, so I put it almost at 15. Because How to Train Your Dragon is one of the biggest plots right now, but it has the smallest expansion pad. So that would be its own land if they were to do it as far as IP goes.
Yeah,
I still find it weird that they wouldn't allocate more land to the other 3. So How to Train Your Dragon, that is probably one of my favorite animations from them. I just don't think it needed 15 acres. And I would have probably used some of that land to push somewhere else. But if you also notice too, they put the roller coaster right in between where that expansion is going to be too. So that sightline from that other expansion pad is going to be very strange, depending on what they put there as far as IP goes.
Now, do you guys put Zelda as an offshoot to Nintendo World, or do you think that's such a big world you can put it maybe up with the 20 acres? Would you separate it from Nintendo, or would you try to put it next to Nintendo? Does that matter?
I don't think it needs 20 acres. It would be cool to have 20 acres worth, but I actually would like to walk through. In a perfect world, I would like to walk through Mario, Donkey Kong, Hyrule, and then have my Pokemon as my last go, and then walk out. I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
More cohesive.
Is again the naming, right? So if you put Zelda somewhere else other than Nintendo, then what was the point of Super Nintendo World?
True.
Exactly.
So unless you're gonna change the name to Super Mario World, then I could see you putting it somewhere else. But because they're like Super Nintendo World, well, okay, well now all these IPs are under Nintendo now. So, and which is strange to me too, Ken, you're talking about, right? How to Train Your Dragon is really like the biggest, land right there. Is you wouldn't allocate more land to Super Nintendo World. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of a brainer to me. There's so many IPs you could use.
Unless hear me out on this. It's called Super Nintendo World. There's only certain franchises that were on Super Nintendo. If you wanted to like really dig into that, you could technically put Switch World, Switch 2 World. Like you could do that and then put whatever franchise they have over there. Or that could be the upper version of like the Nintendo's non-kid version of that side of the park. So you would have it over there. So you'd have your Samus or
that's
Star
why
Fox.
I wish that they would have just called it like Super Mario World and just like, and then create more onto it. I feel like if you're gonna call it Super Nintendo World, and I agree with you to kind of like block it.
I forgot about that. Is what we need.
That's what
we're supposed to talk about.
If you want to do something in the 20 acres, it's Lord of the Rings for sure,
dude. How that would be epic. That would be fucking epic.
Yeah, see me, that's epic.
Dude, just imagine walking through. Oh my, dude, that would be sick as fuck. I would love that.
And they have like a wishing well, but it's Mount Doom or whatever, and you can drop coins instead of the ring or something.
That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. But then here we go again. Do we get another roller coaster there? What kind of ride are we getting with something like that? Do we even like certain franchises? They can live without having multiple rides, and I think Lord of the Rings would be one of those franchises that I want rides, but I would be happy just to.
I would be happy, honestly. And again, sometimes quantity needs to be taking into the shadow of quality. For instance, you can have 4 rides in one land, but if they're all like carnival-based attractions, I could care less. But you give me one banger attraction, to me, that's worth the whole entire land. Like, so if you give me a big, massive scope of a Lord of the Rings.
I don't agree with you, by the way, George.
Oh, that's fine. But but like for me, like now when I say one attraction, I mean like if you have 20 acres and you have one attraction, you're doing something completely wrong.
That's what I was going to say. Disneyland did that. They used up all their fucking space. We talked about it 400 times on your channel. They took up all that space for Star Wars and gave us half of a good ride and a good ride. And then
I will say, though, to Smuggler's Run's defense, I do feel like they're getting better with that because of like what they're planning on for it. I think honestly, for a period of time, I feel like Smuggler's Run is going to honestly overtake Rise a little bit.
Well, it'll definitely overtake Star Tours because Star Tours, the whole thing with Star Tours is like the flexibility with the different planets and all that stuff. But if Smuggler's Run is going to start doing that same thing, why do we have Star Tours? It makes no sense to me.
Okay, but OG, I was saying, I'm kind of going a little bit of my rant here, okay?
Absolutely. No, do you think, bro?
Yeah. So I love Star Tours. I've always loved Star Tours. However, I have told George time and time again, I have some problems with current Star Tours, right? It's great. I love it. Okay. But the story, okay, like the plot of the ride doesn't really make sense. Okay? You know, you're jumping from this point to this point to this planet to that planet, right? Here's my problem with that. I wish that if we were going to a destination, it was for that segment of the attraction, for that ride through, it was just that destination, not multiple time points and jump skips and whatever. I wish it was just that one, because then the story would make more cohesive sense. But currently it doesn't. Does our Star Speeder 1000 have like a flux capacitor or something? Because one point we're going from like, you know, the OG trilogy, then we're going to the prequels. Like what's happening? You know, then we see Jar Jar Binks. But you know, I hope with the new Smuggler's Run, they take into consideration of having a cohesive storyline with these extra planets, right? Because here's the thing. They said, oh, you start off, what was it, George? Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You start with Tatooine, right? And then you, the cabin crew, can choose your next destination. Okay, cool. But does the story flow make sense going to Bespin, going to you know, the Death Star or whatever, right? Does the narrative and the story flow make sense when you choose these other locations?
I feel like they gave up though, because at one point they were just a stickler for these movies are out, therefore these characters are out. No more Darth Vader. Darth Vader's dead. Now all of a sudden we can see Darth Vader again somewhere. So it's like, I feel like at some point they either gave up, but they're like, you know what? This is let's just put it out there. Who cares? They love it. It's Star Wars. They'll love it. Just put it out there.
Yeah, and you're right. You're right, but when you look at the original Star Tours, though, right? What I loved about it, yeah, I get it. It doesn't make sense flying through a comet, right? But it was still cool. But you still had the narrative of like, okay, we missed the moon of Endor. Okay, now we're caught up in a battle scene between the Rebel Alliance and, you know, the Empire, and then we help them blow up the Death Star, right? And current Star Tours, you shoot one little cannon, then oh, thank you, Star Tours, you're the best, you know, and then they give you a good clap and cheer when you get back. So it's like you didn't contribute to anything. You know, you're just there flying around with fucking C-3PO. So I just hope for the newer Smuggler's Run, the story with the planets that they introduce makes sense cohesively. And
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not a Star Wars fan. For everybody out there in the world that already seen me over on the other channels, I don't care for it. I still hate that they put both in both parks. I think it was a waste of space for Disneyland. We should have got a expansion of Fantasyland. I would have loved to have a new Fantasyland, just like Disney World, but with different IPs, of course. But
do you feel it's out of place? Star Wars,
oh yeah,
Galaxies,
it shouldn't have gone there.
For Disney. Yeah,
it should have went over on the other side. Should have went on the other side. Should have been half that. Get rid of the fucking lagoon in the middle of DCA. No one watches the show anyway. It doesn't work half the time. Get rid of it. Use that fucking land. Now I'm irritated. Way to go, guys.
Yeah, they're taking our water away and they're gonna put more merchandise.
There you go. Exactly. You could do it. People, I'm actually surprised that there was not a huge uproar about that. But I think it's different taking away Disney World's water versus Disneyland's water.
I heard them.
Yeah,
I seen them. They're mad.
Yeah, they're mad. They're really mad.
It's the purest, you know. Like me, I've never. It feels great. Like the whole aesthetic, like it's there for a reason. Like it gives you that feel, right? But I've never been Like it wasn't my thing. I never went on Tom Sawyer Island or anything until recently on one of the streams that I did. I actually, you know what? Let me just go here. It's gonna get gone. Let me just go check it out. And I checked it out, and I was like, you know what? It's actually a nice place. Like it has the fort there, and they have like little guns in the fort, so it acts like you're shooting Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and the horses like make noise and stuff like that. So it's like a cute little area, people to rest, a lot of vegetation, a lot of trees, so like you can sit and chill, and it's like just old. It's almost like how Treehouse maybe would be, but in like just an island, so you can just sit there and look at Haunted Mansion and stuff like that. So I appreciate it for what it is. Me, I'm indifferent. It doesn't matter me one way or another. More rides, okay, that's great, but I feel like Cars is misplaced. You know, Frontierland is kind of discombobulated right now because they just Tiana's there now, and so she's in the middle of everything, and they couldn't give her her own ride. They decided just to tack that on. We couldn't even get Dr. Facilier there, so that was a big loss for me too. I'm just like, no voodoo? All right, I guess that's bad now, even though you made a movie 10 years ago about it.
Well, and that was weird too, Assemble, because yeah, I heard that too. I heard they didn't want Facilier because of the voodoo, which and then out here in California for Oogie Boogie Bash. And George, you can vouch for me on this.
Yes, Melissa. Sorry, real quick. Yes, Melissa. I was thinking that the whole time I was going to go await my turn, but I'm not because it's my show. You are completely correct. That's where I go to decompress. And then in Disneyland, that's where the best shitter is. All right, go for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they get rid of the they get rid of Facilier in the attraction because of voodoo, but then Facilier's in the Oogie Boogie Bash parade. And I'm like, there's like no cohesiveness with any of this stuff. It makes no sense to me. Is he problematic or not? Like,
and my thing is, you made a whole movie about this person. That's 2 hours long or however long it is. So we're once again Disney erasing certain things when they already put it into play. You can't erase the past. It's always going to be there.
And one of the best villains, the best voice actor, Keith David. I mean, the Arbiter, Halo 3. Like, come on, man. Like, he is a legend. And literally, you don't put him in the ride at all. That's just a big L on their part.
You had it written down. We talked about this on OG's channel. You had the script to make this ride, and it would have been cohesive as fuck for that ride.
What other Disney princess does their own ride? Like, every Disney princess that I'm aware of has the story of their movie. Little Mermaid has it, so it's like, why you just make a sequel about something and now she's in some weird cargo pants for no reason, and it's just weird.
Yeah, exactly, Simple. Like, here's the thing is that I don't have a problem with a ride being a sequel to a movie or whatever, right?
Sure.
My problem is this for Tiana, this was the perfect ride, or not perfect ride, but like this was a perfect opportunity to do a book report attraction. Like, if there was any book report attraction you should do, it was this. It was for this movie or for this ride. It's like, you, like Ken said, you already had it written down. You had the villain in there. I want to go in the ride, see Dr. Facilier, and I want to see him get destroyed. Right? I want to hear, "Are you ready?" and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
but we didn't get that, and like it was such a big miss, a huge miss. And it was like, you had it like right there. The movie is there. You made it like some years ago. So I don't know why they didn't do that. Again, I don't have a problem with a ride being a sequel to a movie. I have a problem with them not doing the fucking movie for the ride.
There you go. Now, Assemble. Rogue Attraction has a question for you because you were actually there today.
Yeah.
He says, I got to know, can you go through, do you have to go through the portals or can you actually walk in a circle around Epic? So does each lane connect or is it like in the portal, out the portal kind of situation?
So it's kind of twofold. Like they have, like, let's take Super Nintendo World. The portal, you have to go up the escalator. So there's no way about it. That's how you get through the portal. But you can actually get in and out of the portal. They have or in and out of the world, they have little side exits. So you don't technically have to go in the portal, but the portals are not connected. So you have to come out of that world into Celestial Park and walk to the next portal.
Okay, makes sense. Cool.
Let's move on over to Wizards while we're on topic here. I think this is the second. So at first I wasn't wasn't excited for it because I hate the ministry thing. I think that it's just kind of a cop out, and I hate that they're just trying to push that whole fucking scene when there's so much more we could have got. We could have gone with the second movie or the third movie or just something different. And I think this was just the easiest choice for him. But after seeing it on YouTube, holy fuck, I'm invested. How was it in person? Like I just.
So let me just
break
say
my heart.
this.
It's okay.
Let me just say this. I love the Harry Potter franchise. Having said that, I do not like the world. The ride is, I feel like, is completely separate from the world itself. That's my least favorite world out of all of them. I'll take Celestial Park over France.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah.
Assemble,
Wow.
let me ask you this, because I had mentioned this when we did our show on Orange Grove 55. I feel like the land that they put in Epic Universe, aside from Ministry of Magic, but just the land itself, I felt like that would have been more cohesive if they were to put that in the Studios Park, and Diagon Alley would have fit much better in the Epic Universe genre.
Oh, the Ministry ride? Yeah, probably, more than likely. Yeah, because I kind of remember this, but I guess they went to France on Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald, which I don't remember, but I only saw it once. So if they would have did a ride based on that, or based on Grindelwald and Dumbledore's kind of feud, something to that effect, that would be kind of cool. But the fact that you're supposed to go back in time into the 20s, and now you're in France, and then all of a sudden you take the Flu Network into the Ministry, and somehow you're in modern day, which is, it always just, it just throws me off. It's kind of weird. But yeah, Battle of the Ministry probably should have been somewhere else, and they probably should have put something else more in line with that storyline, since they're going more with Fantastic Beast storyline in this portal.
Okay.
You're muted.
Can you hear me? I remember my first beer.
Okay, yeah, dude, I don't even drink. I'm already drunk. So I think what happened was, when you have a park like this that's kind of already has stuff in the pipeline going through, when Fantastic Beasts was out, right? I didn't really care for those movies too much. I love the Harry Potter movies. Didn't really care for the Fantastic Beasts movies too much. I think they thought these movies were going to be a hit, and then like, oh, let's do a land based off Fantastic Beasts. Kind of towards, I guess, maybe the later cycle, they kind of realized, oh, maybe we should bring like Harry Potter back into this land. So I think maybe there's like that kind of mismatcher feeling probably from the land and then the ride. It's not like working together. Is that
right?
Kind of how it is?
That's basically what it is. Like the world and the ride just are not meshing the way like Super Nintendo World or Dark Universe or Isle of Berk works. So
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of right. Like they need it to, like, we need an attraction for this ride, but we want to set this in France, and maybe people won't get it because Fantastic Beasts maybe didn't do well compared to Harry Potter. So Harry Potter is still big no matter what it is, and then the TV show is probably going to come out. So we need something that people will recognize. So I feel like that's what they did to it.
Yeah.
But that brings up the point of why not go original if we're basing the new series off of the books. Like, why are we not going with something that's more original? I think, Mike, you're kind of right about that. Maybe they already had the Fantastic Beasts stuff in the works, and they already had, because it kind of looks how you would think it would look in the movies. So I don't know. I just think that whole character too. Like I said before, I fucking hated that character. I don't think anyone likes her, and it's just a weird choice for me. They could have done something different, but I also haven't been there. I haven't ridden the ride, so I couldn't really tell you.
The ride is amazing, though. I will say that, but there's many a steps in that up and down stairs. There's a lot of stairs because
that's what I wanted to ask you, Assemble, because it's like a lot of people, and you were even saying, kind of like balancing it out with Monsters Unchained, and some people were even saying Ministry is better than Monsters. So when I watched the video on YouTube, I couldn't really see like how it could be better. But again, I think I'm just going by the visual. So I don't know as far as like how the ride system is, like with the sensation of the movement or what have you. Like what is it that makes this ride so compelling as far as like with the ride system goes?
I feel like first of all, it's more accommodating for people who like on the bigger size or whatnot. Like it's just basically Tower of Terror. You just have a seatbelt. So pretty much anyone can go on this ride. That's number one. Number two, I feel like with Dark Universe, it has that Forbidden Journey feel to where it's bringing you upside down or like on your back and stuff like that. Whereas Ministry doesn't do that. You're in the Tower of Terror-esque elevator, and it's on the Kuka arm, but it's not bringing you like sideways or anything like that. It's still kind of I guess upright would be the most appropriate term. So it's still upright, but it's still turning you and dropping you and doing all that stuff that a Kuka arm would do, but just not putting you on your back. So I think that's kind of the difference. So it's not as with Dark Universe 2, I didn't feel the nausea that I felt with Forbidden Journey. So both of these rides are very smooth. So I will give it that. But I feel Dark Universe has more dead spots, I guess you can say. Whereas you're waiting for the next scene. So like you're turned to a wall and you're hearing stuff and they're talking and Igor's talking to Frankenstein, but you're not seeing anything until it brings you to where you need to go. Or it'll bring you on your back and then you're supposed to look up, or it'll turn you around real quick and show you something. So I feel like it has death spots for a reason, which threw me off at first, but now that, thinking back on it, it makes sense as to why they have death spots, because Ministry did the same thing, but I feel like it didn't do it as much, or it was better hiding it because of the way the Kuka arm and the actual ride sits, as opposed to just you being flailed on the side, on your back and everything.
Okay, nice.
And that's the only ride in that section, right?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. They do have a show, but I didn't want to see the show. The How to Train Your Dragon show, I would assume is way much better because that one was pretty awesome. But I didn't go to see the show. Yeah, and it only had one ride. I was disappointed that that area didn't have another ride.
How was there space to have a second ride? Could you see there being an area for that, not having expansion?
No expansion. I mean, to me, I feel like the French Street is just like it all just needs to be just a ride. It needs to get rid of it and put a ride. I just don't like the land for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just not familiar with it, or it just doesn't sit right with. It's just all the stores, and most of the doors you can't go in, and all basically it's just for wand waving. That's basically what it's for, the streets. It's just for wand waving
space.
Yeah, I feel like, but there's shops there. You got to buy stuff through their shops.
Yeah,
there. But there is one area like in the back where there's a talking portrait, and it's a live person, and you talk to it for a while, and that person's set in the 20s. And coincidentally enough, I always say this name wrong. Professor Trelawney, the divinity from part 3 from Prisoner of Azkaban, I believe that's her distant relative because she has the same last name, and this is set in the 20s. So I feel like that's like her great granddaughter or something in Prisoner of Azkaban. So, and I was trying to talk to her and try to mention that, but she was talking my head off. The lady was talking my head off. She's trying to make conversation with people because people get nervous and they, want to try and just see what's happening and like, how is this picture talking to me? But that part was really cool. I do like that. And then there's one or two characters, as it were, that go around that I guess are part of the ministry and talk to you and stuff like that. And then there's a show right in the middle.
But no actual like Harry Potter characters that you would recognize.
Oh no, definitely not. No.
Okay.
This is 20s France, and it's it wasn't.
So how does that work with the ride then?
Just tell me about it.
Is that weird? Okay.
So basically, I guess how they get around it is because when you go into the portal, you hear time ticking. And so it's like, oh, it's bringing you back in time. And then when you go to the ride, you go to the Flu Network. And the Flu Network apparently is a portal as well, a time portal that brings you to modern day Ministry of Magic. That's how
that's where I'm missing the connection because
it doesn't make sense either, but I guess, it's a loose space. Crazy. They get away with it.
That's crazy.
Magic. Magic, exactly.
We're gonna try to get out of here pretty quickly, so let's run through the Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon, Alan of Burke, real quick, and then we'll head out for the night. Once again, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight, all 9 of you. I appreciate you. Without you, I wouldn't even have the courage to do this tonight. And thank you, everyone on the panel too, for showing up. And don't forget to like and subscribe. But let's get into How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Burke. Who wants to kick us off?
Yeah, I know this land surprised me, actually. I was really I haven't been. I want to make full disclosure. I haven't been, but from what I've seen, I mean, it's crazy because I was kind of like, I don't know about this land. You know, I was really hesitant about it. And then the more and more that we saw, like from Bio Reconstruct and all that stuff, I was like, you know what? This is turning out pretty dope. Aesthetically, it looks really sick. So I'm like, Isle of Burke is one of my most anticipated lands for this park.
Most cohesive. I would say most cohesive with everything. Characters, the size of the land, how many things you can do in the land. Like everything fits perfectly. This is probably the one that they did the best.
So yeah, you feel it's the most like fleshed out of all the lands.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
especially
you
with
need
the
to
movie
ask
coming
him,
out.
OG. Ask him the question you asked me earlier.
Oh, did it bother you? Because in the community, there's a lot of talk about the sight lines, like with the coaster. You can see the coaster. Did that bother you as a park fan, or not really?
I guess it depends on the day, honestly. Like if your whole point is these are portals and you're going to a different world, then it does bug me a little bit that, like, you know, you did all this trouble to do these portals and then you put Stardust Racers next to Isle of Burke and I can see everything. So in a sense, it's a little bit makes sense. But honestly, I could care less.
Yeah.
I
feel you. I think most people kind of feel like.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think most people kind of feel like how Assemble feels. Like we talked to Tones earlier, he kind of said the same thing. I think as park fans, we do sort of analyze stuff on a deeper level, and it probably irks us a little bit, you know, being like nerdy about it. But
That's complete and utter bullshit. Because for me, like that they did, because for me, if it was already a screwed up land to begin with, like then it's like, okay, then, you know, just throw in the coaster. But because I actually grew to like that land and it grew more and more, where it's like, you know what, this is like really in full detail of what these films are. And again, I'm going to go back. You got my 90%. And then you're going to screw it up with the 10%. You're going to do all this immersion, but you're just going to just cut out this little part and you're going to leave this freaking Stardust. Right? I'm sorry. That like really is like an itch in my ass that you just can't reach.
It is a little.
Do you think the Mead Hill was supposed to block some of that site?
The what?
Or not the Mead Hill, the Mead Hall. Do you think that was supposed to block some of the site from there, or is that not even in the same area?
The Mead Hall, that's the food in Isle of Burke?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's not even in that same. Yeah, it's off to the side. So like right next to Stardust Racers, which I wrote it at night and I appreciate I could see everything and everything's glowing. Super Nintendo World, I can see it looks beautiful at night. Like I like that. That was amazing riding Stardust at night, and you have to ride it at night. Otherwise, you won't get it. But literally right next to Stardust is part of Hiccup's roller coaster.
Right.
Okay. So it's right there. And then off a little bit is where the like restaurant is and everything. So like, yeah, no, it's nowhere near.
Do you think that, I mean, is there anything they could have done to hide that, or is it that big of a piece that it wouldn't have been able to hide?
It would have to be a pretty big wall.
Fuck. So they fucked up.
Yeah,
so
it's a pretty big wall.
So basically, let's just call it what it is. It was a hiccup.
There you go, George. Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
So,
George, sorry, Ken, real quick. George, I want you to go to Isle of Burke and I want you to take a picture of the coaster.
Dude, I'm getting a picture. I'm gonna have Abby take a picture of me in the Isle of Burke with the freaking Stardust Racer behind me, because that's gonna be like my. Because it's just fun. Now again, is that going to ruin my experience? No, I think it's just like one of those things. Like if you're going to go that far into detail, it's like why not finish it? Now again, to Assemble's point, if because of the size of the coaster, I feel like it wasn't an issue what they did with Isle of Burke. I feel like the issue is where the placement was for Stardust Racers.
And you saw on that map, it's right between there and that next plot. So whatever plot's going to be on the other one, you're probably going to see the ride again. on that.
Well, yeah, if they don't address that, if they don't do some creative kind of maneuvering there to kind of hide it, yeah, you probably
Dark
will.
red, cover Stardust.
So much. Well, how tall is the castle in Dark Universe?
It's pretty tall, yeah.
Pretty
Like
tall.
I can
Like,
see it from Stardust Racers, definitely.
Okay, so they would have to do something like that. I'm excited for it. I from everything I've seen, I want to go. Like, I'm still gonna do this. I would, over the time of this whole 2-hour show, I would probably end up sacrificing Hollywood Studios, just like you said earlier, OG, and do a day over in Epic Universe if possible.
Yeah, you have an annual pass?
No, I'm in California, so.
Oh, okay. You gotta get a hotel and be lucky enough to have an opening. Usually on Wednesdays is the best
time. Yeah, this would be sometime in the future, hopefully. Florida's not my favorite spot to go if I had to spend money to go, but
is it the heat? Is it the heat, or what is it?
The bipolar weather is just not cool with me. And then having to bring like 10 pairs of shoes because you get rain in your shoes and you have to walk around in 90-degree weather. It's just so weird to me. And then just the whole traveling with kids is kind of, it's like an 8-hour trip. You know what I mean? So
I'm telling you, bro. That's why I left mine at home.
There you go.
There you go. Problem solved, Candid. Leave them at home.
But that's kind of some good insights tonight from the boys here. I appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're gonna kick it off with OG again. Can you tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, no, I want to thank you, Candid, for having us on. Really fun conversation. Awesome. Assemble, it was awesome having you on. And Assemble, I do want to say too, you're always invited on OG55. If you ever want to come on my channel and talk shop, always invited. Absolutely. But yeah, Candid, thank you so much for hosting tonight. You can find me on Orange Girl 55 on YouTube, Instagram, Orange Girl 55, and I have an X account. I don't really use it that much anymore, but Orange Girl 55 over there as well. Boom.
All right, who's up? Webba.
Yes. Ken, thank you so much for having all of us on. It was such a great time talking. Assemble, it was good. It was good meeting you. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Mr. Webba at Webstinger760. You can also find me on Instagram and Threads, Mr. Webba at Callbug91. You can also find me with OG55 and George the Italiano.
There he is. There is. I'm still waiting. I swear you do look like you're in a military base or something, Webba. Like
he does. He really does. Like the lighting and everything with the shirt and the wrapped arm and everything, dude. Like I would have been.
I would have been a drill sergeant to yell at him.
Somewhere bunker or something.
Fantastic.
Cool.
George, where can they find you at, buddy?
Absolutely. And again, also to echo OG's statement, Assemble. Yes, you're always welcome on his channel. I'm part of it, but even though it's his channel, I tend to like to take over at times. So he leaves the door cracked open. I break it open every time. So, but in any case, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And you could also check out my new YouTube channel and Instagram, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
Love it. Theme Parks Assemble, where can we find you at?
Appreciate you guys having me on. It was fun. And fellow Italiano, I appreciate that. I'm on all the social sites at Theme Parks Assemble. Mostly it's YouTube. I do have a Twitter. Or X. Don't use it much. Instagram, don't really use it much. I'm mostly on YouTube, but I also have a Facebook page and a group. But you can usually find me on YouTube.
Awesome.
There he is.
Make sure you check everybody out. I'll try to get some comments in there if I could, or some links to their accounts if I can figure out how to do that. I don't know what I'm saying, but you'll find them all there at the bottom. Thank you, Theme Park Assemble, for coming on late, short minute, whatever it was, but coming from the crowd and joining, that's awesome. People usually get scared by doing that, but we appreciate it. Everybody else on the panel, I appreciate you guys, man. I know you guys are working your asses off, and I'm so proud of everybody here. And thank you for fitting me into your busy schedule.
I wouldn't know if I'm working my ass off because at this point, my ass is numb.
Mine is too. The George, or George is the she? I'm confused.
I don't know. It made sense in my head.
My ass like has no feeling because like just sitting here, I can't feel it.
I didn't know what way you're. I just never mind. Melissa, thanks for joining or for joining the chat. And who else we missing here? We're missing the Giant Peter Show. Thank you, and Sam Chat. Thank you so much. And there's one more, the Rogue Attraction. Thank you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave some comments below.
OG, what were we gonna say? You're gonna say something.
Oh no, I was just saying when you say Giant Peter Show, always make sure you add the show because I called him Giant Peter one day. It just came out wrong. We got a Giant Peter in the
house. Once again, you guys can find me here on YouTube, Candy Camper. Go check me out on where am I now? Instagram and on TikTok. And that's it. All right.
There you go.
I appreciate y'all. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody. Good night.